2025 was packed with so many game releases, from massive blockbusters to small experimental indie projects, that it's no surprise great games slipped under your radar. So today, we're gonna fix that. We're diving into 10 incredible games you missed in 2025. Let's get started. Let's kick things off with possibly the most unhinged dating sim ever released, with Date Everything. You're a poor soul rocking Dateviator glasses. You heard me. It's a magical pair of specs that turn your bed, your fridge, well, literally everything, into a fully voiced, dateable anime person.
Mate, think about it. Love is love.
Every object you acknowledge becomes a new character, with its own weird little backstory. And the dialogue choices determine if you end up in a relationship, a friendship, or just a testy toaster. If you manage to not piss them off, you can even realize them into human form. Which sounds romantic, but is it really? I honestly don't know. You can romance over 100 characters, from furniture to abstract concepts, and the writing balances this insane premise with genuine emotional beats. It's so freaking weird, yet surprisingly heartfelt, and it's the kind of game that makes you question every relationship you've ever had with an appliance. Okay, if Bayonetta took a semester abroad to experiment in the Ottoman Empire and came back with a harem, that's Concubine. This one's a dark fantasy hack-and-slash RPG set in a mythical version of medieval Istanbul, where you live a double life. Concubine by day, monster-slaying assassin by night.
You need say no more.
You can customize your concubine and up to 3 companions, with the kind of detail sliders that would make a plastic surgeon sweat. When you're not decorating your harem base with couches, baths, and suspiciously interactive furniture, you're out battling demons and cultists ripped straight from Anatolian mythology. The combat is fast, flashy, and surprisingly deep. Think Devil May Cry meets Dragon's Crown. Concubine is without a doubt one of 2025's boldest action RPGs that almost no one talked about. Well, actually someone did. Check out my review quickie. This is a good one, so make sure you're subscribed as I keep up with the game's development. If Nier Automata and Hyperdimension Neptunia had a baby, and that baby was raised by a small indie team, you'd get AI Deal Raise. Set in the year 2200, you own AI Deal, a high-speed android built for combat, speed, and maximum cheesecake. It's a 3D action game where you zip around the battlefield, busting out all sorts of over-the-top moves and combos. The presentation leans into full-on anime spectacle. Between fights, you even get scenes that dive into its surprisingly thoughtful story about humanity, AI identity, and the whole what happens when your waifu becomes self-aware problem. It's short, around 5 to 6 hours, but it's a tight, explosive thrill ride packed with flashy bosses, battles, and unapologetic style. And for under $6, it's hard to complain. And if you're looking for something a bit more grown-up, you can get the adult content pack for around $20. Yeah, they know exactly what they're doing. AI Deal Raise is sleek, emotional, and criminally overlooked. A perfect example of an indie dev swinging way above their weight class in 2025. If you ever looked at Fairy Tail and thought, Yeah, but what if it was in space and also an open world action RPG? Good news. Eden Zero exists, and somehow nobody talks about it. Based on Hiro Mashima's Japanese manga series that ran from 2018 to 2024, this game lets you step into the shoes of Shiki and the entire Eden's crew as they blast across planets, punch robots in the face, and chain combos so insane they look like anime intros come to life. It's the full story from the manga, expanded with game-exclusive quests, new cutscenes, and even original lore written specifically for the game. Combat hits hard. Melee, guns, magic, character swapping, overboost, special skills, and signature actions. Yeah, pretty awesome. Then there's the bananas customization. Over 700 pieces of gear, full appearance swapping without touching stats, and skill trees that let you turn your crew into intergalactic war machines. The exploration is equally massive. The entire planet of Blue Garden is open to roam, with more than 200 quests, recruitable crew members, including former enemies, and a metric ton of side stories for fans of the manga and newcomers alike. If you want a 2025 anime ARPG that's massive, flashy, and absolutely bursting with fan service, Eden Zero is one you definitely missed.
前回は俺たちで先走っちまった結果なんだろ。今回は違うぞ。全員で殴り込みだ。
Alright, next is Bloodcrawler, a turn-based RPG that balances a dark story about war, exploitation, and the aftermath of atrocities, with cheeky fan service and full-on adult scenes. Gameplay-wise, Bloodcrawler is a classic-style turn-based RPG with map exploration, branching story paths, and a unique AP-based combat system that adds more tactical depth than your standard menu-based fights. Combat is methodical and punishing, emphasizing resource management, party positioning, and long-term planning rather than just flashy spectacle. It's a slow-burn RPG design, the kind that rewards patience and attention. The writing is noticeably stronger than you'd expect from a niche indie release, with careful pacing, real stakes, and consequences that linger well past the individual battles. Bloodcrawler is heavy, uncomfortable, and absolutely not for everyone. But for anyone who wants a dark, narrative-driven RPG with a heaping spoonful of skin, this is one of 2025's most overlooked releases. Despite the title, Great Tough Bikini 6 isn't the sixth entry in a long-running Great Tough Bikini series you've never heard of. Think of it more like Fox Force 5.
Fox as in we're a bunch of foxy chicks. Force as in we're a force to be reckoned with. And 5 as in there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of us.
You play as 6 bikini-clad heroines, beating the crap out of everyone who stands in their way. And if this game looks familiar, you're not going crazy. You've probably seen another N-Star Cube game before. Check out my review of Kraken City to see their formula in action. But to boil it down, you take hot women, arm them to the teeth, and have them fight human, and for some reason, orc enemies. Throw in top-notch physics and a change of clothes, and you're in for a decent time. While they're sticking to what they know, N-Star Cube has made some improvements, like the addition of multiple heroines, refinements to the simple hack-and-slash combat, and the variety of weapons and fighting styles. They also didn't skimp out on the, costume physics? Because priorities. Great Tough Bikini 6 doesn't pretend to be deep. It's dumb, fun, and way too aware of itself. The perfect type of diversion you missed in 2025. Alright, we've all played rhythm games with drums, guitars, idols, you know, the huge. But have you played a rhythm game where you purify wandering souls with anime thighs? You heard me. This is Momo Crash, a game that looked at the entire rhythm genre and said,
I got a fever, and the only prescription is more
legs. You control one of 3 thigh warriors. Yes, that's what they're called. Each is more unhinged and adorable than the last. Daya, the self-made influencer with diamond-grade confidence. Seika, the shy nun whose thighs can either heal your spirits or emotionally imprison you. You know I like them nuns. And Hikaru, the sunshine gremlin who solves every problem by crushing it. Gameplay is gloriously simple, but shockingly fun. Clamp incoming souls between your thighs to purify them, kick viruses to the beat, and most importantly, if a cat shows up, you put everything down to give up your lap. You know, priorities. There's a full story mode, unlockable tracks, branching routes based on how well you thigh sync, and a level of commitment from the devs that's honestly inspiring. Their words, thighs, a symbol of tenderness and strength. With everything we've got, we present our thighs to you.
I think I'm gonna cry.
Momo Crash is absurd, stylish, and weirdly heartfelt. And if you missed it in 2025, just know your soul wasn't fully purified. Picture Resident Evil, but set entirely in a high school, and swap out Leon for an anime girl with a ton of customizable outfits.
Shut up and take my money!
Biogoddess Doomsday Begins is a third-person survival shooter where you play as a student trapped in her school after a biochemical outbreak turns it into a nightmare. The halls are crawling with infected enemies and grotesque monsters. Gameplay is classic survival horror at its core. You explore different areas, scavenge for resources, fight enemies with limited ammo, and solve puzzles, like unlocking doors, cracking passwords, and figuring out how to escape without getting torn apart. But what really sets Biogoddess apart is its progression system. Throughout the game, you unlock different school uniforms, and each outfit isn't just cosmetic. It comes with unique skills and stat bonuses that directly affect combat and survival. So yeah, outfit selection actually matters, not just for, reasons. The game's developed entirely by a solo creator, and while it's still in active development, what's already here is a surprisingly ambitious blend of shooter combat, puzzle solving, and anime survival horror. Exactly the kind of strange, niche survival horror game most people completely missed in 2025. Alright, Spooky Milk Life, possibly the most misleadingly titled mystery game ever made. You'd think it's about haunted dairy products, but no, it's part visual novel and part dungeon crawler, where you play as a young man returning to Midnight Falls after your dad vanishes under mysterious and probably sexy circumstances. Gameplay is surprisingly deep for an adult milk-based adventure. You explore the town, chat up locals, and dive into procedurally generated dungeons to fight off monsters in old-school turn-based combat. The time system changes who's around depending on day or night, and there's even crafting, side quests, and a shockingly robust relationship mechanic with the residents of the town. Despite the fan service, the game oozes charm. The animations give every scene a fluid, handcrafted feel, and the writing swings between goofy, heartfelt, and unapologetically raunchy. It's a weird mix of Harvest Moon, Persona, and definitely not safe for streaming. Spooky Milk Life is far better than anyone expected, which makes it one of 2025's strangest games you missed. And finally, Wolfmate, a game that somehow turns a locked school, a creepy girl, and 20 endings into one of the most howling experiences of 2025. You play as a student trapped overnight in a dark, silent school where something feels off. The lights flicker, doors slam shut, and somewhere in the distance, Freya, the mysterious girl with the world's worst social skills, is stalking you through the halls. Gameplay is simple but nerve-wracking. You'll search rooms, solve puzzles, and find keys. And pray Freya isn't standing behind you when you open the next door. Or maybe pray she is. The school setting is surprisingly varied. You'll creep through chemistry labs, art rooms, and storage areas. As you progress, you can unlock skills, discover hidden cutscenes, and stumble into one of 20 possible endings, ranging from bittersweet to freaking nuts. What makes Wolfmate so effective is how nuts it is. The sound design is razor sharp, the visuals are minimal yet haunting, and Freya's unpredictable AI keeps you constantly on edge. It's a great blend of escape room logic and cheeky wolf horror, wrapped in a deceptively simple indie shell. So yeah, if you ever wanted to relive high school with a supernatural stalker, Wolfmate is the game you missed in 2025. "2025 was packed with incredible games that didn't get nearly enough attention. Which one are you grabbing? And which awesome 2025 game did I miss? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out the awesome games set to launch in 2026.